Amazon Prime Video has so many great movies on the platform that it's hard to know which ones are the best. Well, we set out and found the 10 highest rated movies for you. So here are the top 10 movies on Amazon Prime Video. Starting off our list is Dr. Strangelove. An absolute classic film about a fundamental, pedantic U.S. Air Force General Jack Ripper who goes completely and utterly mad and sends his bomber wing to destroy the USSR. He suspects that the communists are conspiring to pollute the precious bodily fluids of the American people. The US president meets with his advisors, where the Soviet ambassador tells him that if the USSR is hit by nuclear weapons, it will trigger a doomsday machine which will destroy all plant and animal life on Earth. Despite knowing this grim outcome, General Jack Ripper still heads on with his plan. Will the bombers be stopped in time, or will General Jack Ripper succeed in destroying the world? Next up at number 9 on our list, we have One Night in Miami. Set on the night of February 25th, 1964, One Night in Miami follows a young, brash Cassius Clay as he emerges from the Miami Beach Convention Center, the new heavyweight boxing champion of the world. Against all odds, he defeated Sonny Liston and shocked the sports world. While crowds of people swarm Miami Beach to celebrate the match, Clay, unable to stay on the island because of Jim Crow-era segregation laws, spends the evening at the Hampton House Motel in Miami's African-American Overtown neighborhood, celebrating with 3 of his closest friends, Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, and Jim Brown. During this historic evening, these icons, who each were the very representation of the pre-Black Power movement and felt the social pressure their crossover celebrity brought, shared their thoughts with each other about their responsibilities as influencers, standing up, defending their rights, and moving the country forward to equality and empowerment for all Black people. The next morning, the 4 men emerged determined to define a new world for themselves and their community. Next up at number 8 on our list, we have The Big Sick. An Uber driver by day and a hopeful professional stand-up comedian by night, Kumail, the Pakistani-American son of an immigrant, struggles to make ends meet as his family, who have high hopes of seeing him married, incessantly audition nice Muslim brides to arrange a prosperous marriage. Instead, despite their efforts, Kumail will fall for the charms of Emily, an American grad student, and even though both swear they don't want a real relationship, they keep growing closer. But suddenly, revealing his romance to his traditional parents will be the least of Kumail's problems, as Emily's health collapses from a grave illness. Can Kumail handle this serious crisis, especially now that he needs to make some difficult decisions about his own life? Find out in The Big Sick. Next up at number 7 is The Farewell. Billy emigrated to New York City from their native China 25 years ago when Billy was only 6. Billy is struggling finding her place in life. By association financially, she's an aspiring writer, but the Guggenheim Fellowship for which she applied and on which she placed so much of her hopes has been denied. Billy maintains a close relationship with her paternal grandmother, her Nai, back in China via the occasional visit and frequent telephone calls. As is Chinese custom, Billy and Nai tell each other little white lies, both to save face and prevent the other from worrying about the painful truth. Those little white lies turn into one big lie when they learn that Nai has just been diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, with the prognosis of only months to live. In a guise to spend one last time together as a family with Nai, they devise a fake wedding, that of Hyben's only offspring Hao to Aiko, his Japanese girlfriend of only 3 months. As time goes on, it may be difficult not only for Billy, but for others to maintain the ruse. But Billy and the others may also come to a better perspective of what is best for all concerned under the circumstances. Next up at number 6 on our list is Sunset Boulevard. In the Hollywood of the 50s, the obscure screenplay writer Joe Gillis is not able to sell his work to the studios, is full of debts, and is thinking about returning to his hometown to work in an office. While trying to escape from his creditors, he has a flat tire and parks his car in a decadent mansion on Sunset Boulevard. He meets the owner and former silent movie star Norma Desmond, who lives alone with her butler and driver Max von Meyerling. Norma is demented and believes she will return to the cinema industry, and is protected and isolated from the world by Max, who was her director and husband in the past and still loves her. Norma proposes to Joe to move to the mansion and help her in writing a screenplay for her comeback to the cinema, and the small-time writer becomes her lover and gigolo. When Joe falls in love for the young aspirant writer Betty Schaefer, Norma becomes jealous and completely insane, and her madness leads to a tragic end. Before we get into the top 5 of our list, consider subscribing to our channel, as we put out new videos like this every week. Coming in at number 5 on our list, we have Ash is Purest White. In the year 2001, Kiao is the dutiful girlfriend of Bin, a small-time gangster who runs a mahjong parlor in the small northern town of Datong. She's from a mining family that's been hit hard by the drop in coal prices, but with Bin and the economy he's created around himself, she's never had to scrape by. That changes when Bin is beset by a local gang in the middle of a crowded town square, and Kiao pulls a gun to ward them off, shooting it in the air. The illegal weapon possession charge lands her in jail for 5 years, and when she's let out, she finds she has nothing to her name and Bin is nowhere to be found. She and Bin finally make contact again. Bin also went to jail after the incident and came back penniless, betrayed by his mob brothers. Kiao sets off on her own for the next decade, left to experience the sublime absurdity of the world that she didn't know. Coming in at number 4 on our list, we have I Am Not Your Negro. Through Samuel L. Jackson's familiar voice, Raoul Peck's bold, brutally honest documentary animates the crisp and noble words of African-American writer, civil rights activist, poet, and thinker James Baldwin. Expressing bitter truths while documenting centuries of covert or unapologetic racism, Baldwin's uncompleted 30-page manuscript, Remember This House, was meant to be the shady, voracious chronicle of the American history through the intertwined stories of the fallen heroes and assassinated friends, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, and Malcolm X. Is James Baldwin's complex endeavor to document the hopelessness of black people still relevant today? Are we doomed to repeat the same calamitous mistakes of an ignoble past? Find out in I Am Not Your Negro. Coming in at number 3 on our list, we have 8th grade. Kayla Day is an 8th grade student finishing her final week at a public middle school in the state of New York. She posts motivational videos on YouTube about confidence and self-image that get almost no views. Struggling to make friends at school, she wins the Most Quiet award from her classmates. Meanwhile, Mark, her single father, struggles to connect with her and break her reliance on social media. She's invited to a pool party hosted by a classmate, Kennedy, who has done so only after being forced by her mother. At the party, Kayla has an anxiety attack in the bathroom, but eventually goes outside to swim where she meets Gabe, Kennedy's eccentric cousin. After trying to leave the party, Kayla has an awkward encounter with her crush Aiden, who suggests that she rejoin the group. Kayla is uncomfortable in the situation and decides to leave the party. When she gets home, she decides to create a time capsule. In that time capsule, she leaves a video message for her high school self, encouraging her to persevere through tough times. Next up at number 2 on our list is Stop Making Sense. Stop Making Sense is a 1984 American concert film featuring a live performance by the American rock band Talking Heads over the course of 4 nights at Hollywood's Pantages Theater in December 1983. David Byrne walks onto the stage and does a solo Psycho Killer. Jerry Harrison, Tina Weymouth, and Chris France join him for 2 more songs. The crew is busy still setting up. Then, 3 more musicians and 2 backup singers join the band. Everybody sings, plays, harmonizes, dances, and runs. They change instruments and clothes. Dave Byrne then appears in the big suit. The backdrop is often black, but sometimes it displays words and images or children's drawings. The band cooks for 18 songs. The lyrics are clear, the house rocks. In this concert film, the talking heads hardly talk, don't stop, but always make sense. And finally, at number 1, we have Leave No Trace. An emotionally broken veteran and his teen daughter have lived off the grid for many years on illegal national park land in Oregon and survived well and happy. One day, they are found by park police and rehomed. He tries his best to make it work, taking a job on a Christmas tree farm, trading his labor for housing, but feels more comfortable working with the animals than the humans. His daughter wants to stay. She's made a friend, sees what life is like in the real world, and wants to grow and evolve. However, freedom calls to him, and they disappear to another state to find peace again until he falls and is barely alive when found. While he is rehabbing his leg, his daughter has the biggest decision of her life to make. And that's our list of the top 10 movies on Amazon Prime Video. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. We put out new videos like this one every week. Comment one of your favorite videos on Amazon Prime, and we'll see you for our next video. Thanks for watching.